Why do you have to be formal?
It's not have to do that way.
Good. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Glad that you're here to join us. I now call to order a Board of Commissioners December 20th regular scheduled meeting. I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Smith to lead us in our invocation tonight, and Colton Kapler is going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Lord, we stand here late in December, and we know that it's the time around the world that we celebrate your birth. Father, I pray that as we ponder on the season of Christmas, that we'll think of the reason for the season, Lord. Father, I truly pray for peace not only around our world, but in our communities, that people will be kind to one another, love one another, and that spirit of kindness and love will permeate throughout the year, not just at Christmas time, Lord. So, Father, I pray for our meeting tonight that all would be done orderly and in a fashion that would be pleasing to you. And I pray that everything is done and said tonight will be pleasing in your sight. Lord, I do pray that you'll bless each and every person here, every family represented, and I pray that you'll continue to bless the town of Fuquay-Varina. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I will ask that Town Manager Mitchell review the meeting protocol for public participation as it relates to this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, board members. Tonight's town board meeting is both in person and live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and Facebook page. Tonight's meeting contains a public comment period and one scheduled public hearing. The public is invited to comment in person. When it is the appropriate time, Mayor Massengill will call on those wishing to address the town board. All attendees that have appeared in person to address the town board during the public comment period should provide your name and address on the registration sheet by the podium prior to the public comment period beginning. We ask all those wishing to address the town board either during the public comment period or during a scheduled public hearing to begin their comments by clearly stating their name and address for the public record. The public is asked to keep all comments to 3 minutes so that all that wish to speak can be heard in a timely manner. To be respectful of those that may have different views on matters addressed by the town board, we ask all in attendance to respect the decorum of the meeting by refraining from clapping, making loud noises, and generally showing support for comments made during the public comment period or public hearings. Police Chief Medina will be asked to escort from the boardroom anyone not respecting the process, and it is at the discretion of the mayor as presiding officer of the meeting as to whether or not to continue the public comment and or public hearing period if the meeting protocol is not followed. This concludes the protocol for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Manager. First item of business is the approval of the minutes from the December 5th, 2022 Town Board of Commissioners regular scheduled meeting. Any changes or additions? Not, I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 5th, 2022 town board meeting as presented and recommended.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our first presentation tonight is recognition of the Fuquay-Varina Middle School teachers and students. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Police Chief Medina.
Good evening, Mayor, board members. The following 4 Fuquay-Varina Middle School staff members and student are being recognized for their heroic actions on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. These brave and heroic actions of the following individuals resulted in the saving of lives and a peaceful resolution to the incident. Fuquay-Varina Middle School sixth grade teacher Samantha Kalekia. Fuquay-Varina Middle School teacher Samantha Kalekia is a new teacher to the Fuquay-Varina Middle School, but demonstrated bravery, compassion, and quick thinking during the incident occurring on December 8th, 2022. On the day of the incident, Ms. Kalekia witnessed the gun and students running. Since her classroom was directly next door to where she saw the gun, she ran 17 students out of the building and across the street. At least 7 of those 17 students were in the room when the student pulled out the firearm and fired one shot. She did an excellent job keeping calm and keeping the students calm for hours. When the students re-entered the building for interviews and statements, she sat with them while they wrote statements, called parents, and worked to reunite those students who were directly impacted by the incident with their parents. Ms. Samantha Kalekia.
Good evening. I also would like to recognize you with the Mayor's Commendation. I can read this here to you. Town of Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, in recognition of bravery and courage by a citizen, this Mayor's Commendation is hereby presented to Samantha Kalekia. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect students at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success and career and life goals, presented this 20th day of December 2022. In addition, what I also would like to present to you is my mayor's coin. And this mayor's coin is a coin that is for somebody that does a dash more in our community, above and beyond. And what you'll find on this coin is it shows our historical representation. It shows our Fuquay-Varina side with the springs, Fuquay Springs where we come, and the Varina side with the train station. And it's shown with a railroad track going through the middle as it connects everybody here. Samantha, you're a dash more. Thank you.
Fuquay-Varina Middle School sixth grade teacher Jeff Junio. Fuquay-Varina Middle School teacher Jeff Junio demonstrated bravery on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Upon hearing code red announcement, Jeff Junio began clearing the hallways in the sixth grade hall. He was grabbing children and physically tossing them into classrooms. He remained in the hallway until it was clear. While this only lasted approximately 60 seconds, he was directly in the line of fire for anything that was going on in the hallway where the firearm was discharged. He remained in the area, getting children out of harm's way, and remained himself in harm's way, protecting and safeguarding the children until his hallway was cleared. Sixth grade teacher Jeff Junio.
Jeff, thank you very much for what you've done. Thank you for being involved in the middle school. Also, I'm here to present you with a mayor's commendation. And this mayor's commendation is presented to Jeff Junio. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect students at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success and career and life goals. I also like to present to you one of my mayor's coins. Thank you.
Fuquay-Varina School sixth grade teacher Lynn Gilliams. Fuquay-Varina Middle School sixth grade Lynn Gilliams demonstrated courageousness and leadership on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Teacher Lynn Gilliams was outside of her classroom when the firearm was discharged. Ms. Gilliams immediately heard the code red lockdown announced on the intercom. She then ushered the students into her classroom. As she locked her classroom door, she was able to find one of her students standing in front of her holding the pistol. She was now locked inside of the classroom with the shooter. She could have unlocked her room and ran out. She could have frozen and done nothing. Instead, she immediately told him, "Give me the gun right now, right now." When she said this, she was approaching towards the student with her hand out. She finally got him and took the gun from him. She then called Miss Elliott and told her that she had the gun and then the student. Shortly after this, Miss Elliott arrived on scene and took possession of the pistol. Miss Gilliams immediately began removing her students from the classroom. However, she then re-entered the room and began talking and consoling the student that discharged the firearm. She was able to calm him down so much that he walked under his own power without any force ever having to be used to the office where he was later interviewed by law enforcement. This was a true act of heroism, deserving the recognition we are providing this evening. Ms. Gilliams not only stood up for her own kids and risked her own safety, but she also saw one of her kids hurting and returned to console the child that had made an unfavorable decision. Ms. Gilliams never had a second thought about approaching an armed student and disarming him because it was one of her kids and she wanted what was best for him. Miss Lynn Gilliams.
I would like to recognize you tonight also with the mayor's commendation here, and I'd like to read this to you. In recognition of bravery and courage by a citizen, this mayor's commendation is hereby presented to Lynn Gilliams. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect students and co-workers at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success in career and life goals. Thank you for what you've done. I would like to also present you with a mayor's coin. Thank you.
Fuquay-Varina Middle School Assistant Principal Paige Elliott. Fuquay-Varina Middle School Assistant Paige Elliott was instrumental upon hearing the code red lockdown called out, but noted it was not immediately received by the front office. Ms. Elliott immediately reinforced the lockdown over the radio and confirmed that it had been activated. Assistant Principal Paige Elliott then contacted 911 requesting to respond and then notified Wake County Public School Security for them to respond as well. Once this was done, Ms. Elliott immediately moved to the area where the firearm was discharged, placed herself in harm's way, and assisted Ms. Gilliams in the process of detaining and securing the student as well as the firearm. Ms. Elliott took temporary custody of the firearm, made the firearm safe, and located the Wake County School Resource Officer. Assistant Principal Paige Elliott then released the firearm to the School Resource Officer and assumed the role of liaison between school administration and law enforcement as the remainder of the event unfolded. These actions by Assistant Principal Paige Elliott freed up Principal Clark to handle the rest of the school and facilitate the reunification of students with their families. Assistant Paige Elliott then acted as a facilitator in the debriefing that occurred after the event was over. This event ran very smoothly due to Ms. Elliott's involvement and willingness to intercede early and assist in any way needed. She placed herself in harm's way early in the incident when no law enforcement was present to get the situation under control as soon and as safely as possible considering the circumstances. Assistant Principal Paige Elliott.
Paige, thank you. Thank you for being there that day. And I would like to also give you a mayor's commendation and read this to you. In recognition of bravery and courage by a citizen, this mayor's commendation is hereby presented to Paige Elliott. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect students and co-workers at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success and career and life goals. I would also like to present to you my mayor's coin. Thank you.
Eighth grade student Colton Kapler. Fuquay-Varina Middle School eighth grade student Colton Kapler showed bravery and leadership on Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Colton Kapler was in the hallway when the code red announcement was made. Colton Kapler immediately noticed sixth graders standing in the hallway and realized they were not headed in any direction. Colton Kapler gathered the sixth grade students and urgently escorted them into an adjacent classroom. Colton Kapler led them, each student, to use his phone so they can call their parents and let them know they were safe. Colton Kapler.
Colton, you have a unique position right here. First off, thank you. Let me tell you thank you on behalf of the citizens of Fuquay-Varina. But that you're a student at school. We've been recognizing faculty at the school. We want to recognize you for your actions this day right here. You're going to be a leader. You're a leader right now by leading with kids, but you're going to continue to be a leader in life. I know your parents are very proud of you. You've got great parents that helped raise you. And I want to offer you a mayor's commendation. This one's a little bit different. In recognition of bravery and courage by a citizen, this mayor's commendation is hereby presented to Colton Kapler. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect fellow students at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success in education and life goals. Colton, you have a whole future ahead of you and great opportunities. And I know with your leadership skills, you'll continue to do great and be a great leader in Fuquay-Varina. Also, you're the youngest person I've ever given a mayor's commendation to, and the youngest person ever to give a mayor's coin to. So thank you for what you've done. We're proud of you here in Fuquay-Varina. I know your parents are very proud of you right there too.
Sure, thank you.
You know, great students and great faculty also takes great leadership. And leadership starts at the administration level with the principal. We have Principal Chris Clark here today. Chris, will you come join me, please? I've gotten to know Principal Clark shortly before this, as we discussed Fuquay-Varina Middle School and opportunities in our community. But thank you for your leadership at Fuquay-Varina Middle School. This mayor's commendation in recognition of bravery and courage by citizens is hereby presented to Chris Clark. Appreciation is expressed for taking a leadership role to protect students and co-workers at Fuquay-Varina Middle School on December 8th, 2022. Well wishes are extended for continued success and career and life goals. That means we want you to stay principal in Fuquay-Varina. We don't need you going to another school, Principal. You've done a great job, and we appreciate you very much. And I hope that this coin right here will keep you in Fuquay-Varina. Our next presentation on our agenda tonight is a statewide athletic committee state champions, All-Star Soccer, 10U boys, 10U girls, and 12U girls. More information about this agenda item will be presented by myself and Marketing Event Specialist Baggett, Parks and Recreation Director Cox. Come on up.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, thank you for having us tonight. We are here yet again for more state champions that we have put out here with our Parks and Rec Department. So this year we were lucky enough to host the entire state, all of the age groups at boys and girls divisions here in Fuquay-Varina at Fleming Loop Park. The tournament was held the third weekend in November. It was supposed to be the second weekend, but it got rained out. So kudos to our athletics division for rescheduling everything, getting all the staff and everything together. Teams, as I call you up, we'll start with our 10U boys. If you can come up, we have a small gift for you. I'll call your name. You can come on up. So to start with 10U boys, we have first is Grant Bailey. Next, we have Uche Mobo. You can just line up there. Sorry. Cameron Mullen. Brandon Smith. Davis Buffalo. Abner Gomez. Adrian Hernandez. Jackson Meader. Aiden Wu. Noah Romo. Jaden White. And RJ White. And tonight we have our assistant coach, Miss Joy Mobo, here tonight. Her husband was the head coach, Collins Mobo, and he is out of town at the moment. One more thing, Mr. Mayor, about this team. They went through the entire tournament undefeated without losing a single game. So kudos to them for that.
Well, congratulations, boys. It's pretty cool to have an undefeated season, be a state champion, and be right here in Fuquay-Varina. You're making us proud. I see a bunch of professional athletes right here playing soccer, all from Fuquay-Varina one day. So congratulations, study hard, and keep playing soccer. We're proud of you.
This is their time.
All right, so same deal. The next group we have is our 10U girls team. They also went through the entire tournament without losing a game. So they were undefeated as well. So ladies, when I call you up, first we have Miss Ava Blazing, Miss Sophia Custer, Miss Jade Lindsay, Miss Gianna Miglior, Miss Iceland Rivera, Miss Marissa Smith, Miss Kate Woodson. Miss Caroline Bettbetter. Miss Ruth Brackner. Miss Eva Hawkins. Miss Jade Kirschner. And Miss Emma Doss. And our coach for the 10U girls team was Coach Eric Blazing. He is not able to attend tonight.
Girls, congratulations. Pretty cool to get a big trophy like this, be undefeated, but the boys and girls are undefeated. Y'all done a great job, ladies, right? Future ladies and girls. We're excited for y'all in Fuquay-Varina. Excited to have champion soccer players right here in town. The pros are waiting for you. We know you're going to be there representing Fuquay-Varina great right now one day. So congratulations. We're so proud of you.
And Mr. Mayor, the last team is the 12U girls. They actually also went through the tournament undefeated as well. All three of them did. So first we have Miss Jillian Bettbetter. Miss Sarah Conley. Miss Alexandra Hawkins. Miss Adora Mobo. Miss Harper Robertson. Miss Willow Sherwood. Miss Cecilia Torres. Miss Kelsey Williams. Miss Nardos Hale. Miss Avery Howard. Miss Angelina Perks. Miss Farrah Pickens. Miss Hadley Scott. And Miss Peyton Vaughn. And our coaches for this team is Coach Dennis Perks. Coach Corey Williams. And Coach Darren Bettbetter. And Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say the three head coaches that we had for all three teams have all coached all-star teams in the past. And I want to say all three of them have won previous state championships as well.
I tell you what, that's great, coaches. You're doing a great job leading our youth right here in Fuquay-Varina. First off, ladies, congratulations on an undefeated season right there and winning. It's incredibly exciting. Coaches, thank y'all for putting your time into these children right here and helping them. Other coaches here tonight, thank you. I wanted to save it for the end to thank all the coaches, but then the parents. Thank you, parents, for driving your kids to practice, driving your kids to games, and showing up. Because if you're not practicing, you're not coming to the games, these coaches can't win without a team. So congratulations, and thank y'all. Look forward to next year being right back up here.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes, they keep the trophy for next time, they put it back in the box.
Oh, did they? You know. Oh, okay. I saw him take it back. I said, but maybe but we don't have. You know what? Maybe we need a town trophy case.
I think we should, we win a lot of championships.
Yeah.
That's a good, bring that up. In comments, read the first read, that's a good idea.
Okay. All right.
I mean, go down to the main thing, show up and show up here, at least you come down there later as a adult, say, tell young kids, I'm gonna go win that trophy right there.
Right. I don't know where we would put it, but
That's Jonathan. I think it's a great idea.
I just thought about it. I was.
I'm wondering if it's the same trophy they hold up every team.
That might be a budget issue.
Yeah, budget issues. We keep winning, we got to buy a lot of them trophies, aren't they? I mean, my daughter can go back to her high school and see her state championship cheerleading trophy.
Folks, if you would continue your conversations in the hallway, please. We do have some more items on our agenda tonight.
I can ask that tonight.
Yeah, we can ask that.
But congratulations. Next item on our agenda will be presentation item 4C, Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Finance Director Crabtree, Cherry Beckert, Courtney Jackson, and Cherry Beckert, Scott Anderson. Good evening.
Hey there. Well, this one won't be quite as exciting as the past, but still good news. Let's see. To get started, I'll show you our client service team here. My name is Courtney Jackson. I was the manager on the job this year. Here with me today, I have Scott Anderson. He was the second reviewer over the ACFR that you all have for the town this year. To start, just show you a little bit of the agenda. This may seem a little lengthy, but this is some of the communications that I'll have tonight. We typically send in a communication letter to governance, but we'll just cover them in the presentation tonight. So as in the past, you won't receive a letter this year. But the biggest part is to go over the results of the audit, the most important part. As I mentioned, still good news. You guys have a clean opinion for the fiscal year 2022, which means that you guys have an unmodified opinion for the financial statements. So this is the best opinion that you can receive, and that was what you guys received for this year. In regard to the Yellow Book and State Single Audit that we performed, there were no findings to be noted for the current year, which is also great news. In regard to single audit, this year, the single audit that we selected for our testing was the Powell bill. This is in regard to the streets that are improved each year. And part of this testing includes just testing of controls We get a listing of, from the state compliance supplement, as far as what they want to see tested, the requirements for that particular program, and we go through and select what's direct and material to the program itself for the town, and we test over those items and controls in regard to those items to ensure compliance with the program. As I mentioned before, no findings, so the program was clean and everything was good. Part of the required communications that we have to you guys, so these are some of the wordy slides. I'm not going to read the slide, but in regard to internal controls and our communications to you all, we do not opine on internal controls. Our job is just to gain an understanding of the internal controls, which is we obtain a certain transaction and we walk through that just to understand the process. The significant transaction processes include cash disbursements, cash receipts, and payroll. And we obtain an understanding of these controls that are in place, the town and finance has put into place, but we do not opine on the effectiveness of those controls, which means that there may still be deficiencies that are not found, but we did not find any during our process. We can go over the corrected and uncorrected misstatements. These professional standards require us to communicate this to you. Happy to result that the trial balance that Joanne and her staff provided to us, we'd had no adjustments. So what they provided is what's in the report, which is great. A couple things to go over here. It's management's responsibility to ensure appropriate accounting policies. This year, the town did implement the new lease standard. There were no adjustments to the financials themselves because based on our procedures, they were not material to the town for this year. This will be evaluated each year to come subsequent to this year as well. And we noted no inappropriate accounting policies or practices through our procedures. Sorry, skipped over one there. Also, part of our audit, we evaluate the town's identification of and accounting for disclosure of all related parties. So we're happy to note that we did not find any related party transactions that were previously undisclosed to us, any transactions that lacked a business purpose, or any non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations. And then we did not identify any difficulties in identifying any parties that ultimately controls the entity. We also noted no transactions entered into that lack an authoritative guidance. So all the significant transactions have been recorded and properly recognized in the proper period within the ACFR. And we will move on to the next one. It's part of our procedures to let you know about significant estimates as well. We go through and evaluate the significant estimates that management has made just to ensure there's no bias or that estimates are not improper. The significant estimates that are most sensitive in your financials include the depreciable lives of capital assets, those calculations in regard to actuary assumptions, which includes deferred inflows and outflows in regard to the post-employment benefits and the law enforcement officers' special separation allowance. Other significant estimates include the acquisition value of donated capital assets, and we're happy to report that all of these seemed reasonable and are included in the financial statements themselves. The last piece here is just to note about financial statements disclosures. All the financial statements are clear and consistent within the financial report. We noted no bias or inconsistencies within the footnote disclosures. As far as independence considerations, this year, as in the past, we have assisted in the financial preparation of the financial statements and the footnotes. With Joanne, she has reviewed and approved those. We also help just with the appropriate sections of the data collection form, and then the town completes the rest of those. All these services, the town is responsible for designating a competent employee to oversee these services, of which Joanne possesses those competencies and has done this for many years. We are not aware of any circumstances or relationships that create a threat to our independence to the town, and we note that we are independent of the town, which is required by our standards. A couple other just required communications. Want to happily note that we did not have any difficulties encountered with management or the town staff. We also did not have any disagreements with management throughout the audit process. As far as auditor consultations, we did not have to go outside of the firm or any specialties to consult on any matters within the audit. We had the expertise on our current team. And then management representations. We obtained a management representation letter throughout, as of November 30th, 2022, which is when the audit report is dated. A couple other required communications. To our knowledge, there were no consultations by management, of which they consult with another accounting firm for any matters that they deem that they want a second opinion on. None of these items were noted to our attention. Any other findings and issues? We did not have any other findings. I do want to say that working with Joanne and her staff in the financial department, they are a joy to work with. It's one of the clients that I enjoy working with, and they make it easy for us, which is always nice. In regard to fraudulent and illegal activities, we did not note any violations in this regard, and then the town does not currently have a going concern. Just a note on other matters, there's a supplementary information and required supplementary information included within the ACFR, which you'll see. I believe you guys have the electronic copies, and these we do not opine on, but give a in relation to opinion. And as far as the MD&A, we do not audit that, but we go through and make sure that there aren't inconsistencies within that compared to the financial statements themselves. And then lastly, just wanted to show a couple upcoming standards that will be coming into effect in the upcoming years that may or may not have an impact on the town's financial reporting. So we'll be in conversations with Joanne, and then if the town council has any questions on these as they come about to implementation, then we're happy to consult and talk with you on those. And then, do you guys have any questions?
Appreciate your hard work, Courtney, and working with our team and staff in regards to this. You mentioned earlier, this is not as exciting, but it's very important.
Still good news.
We cannot have, it's good news. We have found out we're not insolvent and collapsing, which we knew that was not the case. We had a great finance department. And Joanne, I know you want to speak and hopefully and give some information.
You all have a copy, electronic copy, and it will be on the website tomorrow of the financial statements that we have compiled and they looked over. But if you want to get into the details, I would be glad to talk to you at some point. Most people don't get excited about the numbers, but I do. And but there are a few things that I did want to bring to your attention. We have some fiscal policies that we try to remain in compliance with. The town has adopted them some years ago. One is governmental debt as to your assessed value, that debt to assessed value, because you want to make sure that you are 2.5%, less than 2.5. Ours is 0.6%. So that just says that our level of debt as in relation to the valuation that we have on all the property, that we are in good shape because we are not over that 2.5%. The other thing is to look at is governmental debt service, the debt service as compared to the general fund and the transfers. And that percentage you want to be less than 15%. Ours is 8.57%, so we are under that and meet that percentage. Another thing you want to look at is the principal, the debt payment. You want to have like a 10-year principal amount to see, or within that 10-year time frame. The ratio we want to stay below is 55%. Ours is above 55%, and 70.73% is our ratio of having our debt paid out within a 10-year period. The biggest one that I think most people focus on is the unassigned fund balance as a percentage of the governmental expenditures and transfers. Unassigned fund balance you want to have above 25%. Now, local government will say, you know, at least 8%. We have a fiscal policy that is above that of having 25%. Ours is 60.87%. So therefore, we have an unassigned fund balance, meaning it's not obligated to anything or restricted by anything, and it's available for ever I'll decide to spend that. So we have a healthy fund balance, and I even went so far as to look at some of the debt capacity with some of the additional debt we are adding on with the Fire District 4. And even after we have issued that and looking at the debt capacity in the 22-23 year, we are still below. We're at the 9% of debt service to your expenditures of 9%, and we want it to be under 15%. So those are, you know, just a way of looking at some fiscal measures to show that we are very healthy and where we've got a lot of things we want to do and we're planning to do, but at least we know that we have some fiscal, that we are within our policies and we're in good shape. And that's it.
Well, Joanne, thank you for your information tonight. Thank you for presenting this report with our auditor. As you mentioned, there's a lot of things that we have coming up on projects, but that shows that we're well capitalized as it is now. And thank you for your department looking after finances and allowing us to continue to build new roads and water and sewer projects that are coming down the pipeline, and youth sports, as we've seen tonight too. And I enjoy that too. And across the board of multiple areas that your department works in. But thank you for what your team does, your entire department. And like I said, without money at the end of the day, we can't do anything. Thank y'all. Any board members have any questions or comments? If not, we will entertain a motion to accept the report.
Mayor Singular, I move that we accept the report as presented with
Second.
great pride and appreciation.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? No further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all both very much. Next item on our agenda is the public comment period. At this time, the town clerk will call on individuals that are in attendance and have registered to address the town board prior to the meeting. The public comment period is a time for the public to address the town board about any matter that is not the subject of a scheduled public hearing. Those speaking are asked to begin by clearly stating your name and address for the public record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order that all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Rose, do you have anybody?
No one has signed up, Mayor.
Okay. There are no previous items tabled on our agenda for tonight. Next item is our first public hearing tonight. Public hearings are a time for the petitioner to present his or her request and for the public to give input and voice their favor or opposition to the request. If you wish to speak and are physically in attendance, please step forward to the podium one at a time. Provide your name and address on the registration log at the podium. Clearly state your name and address for the public record. We ask all those addressing the town board to please limit your comments to 3 minutes in order all who wish to speak may be heard in a timely manner. Item 7A, Economic Development Incentive Agreement, Budget Amendment, BA 23-32, and Project Ordinance Amendment, POA 23-05, Burt Tech, for $350,000. More information about this agenda item will be presented by Economic Development Director McNeil. Tiffany, come on up. How are you doing tonight, Tiffany?
I'm doing well, and you?
Wonderful, thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider the approval of a local economic development incentive agreement in an amount up to $350,000 for the expansion of the existing Burke Tech manufacturing facility located at 100 Technology Park Lane in Fuquay-Varina. Burke Tech, a Leviton company, is a world-class manufacturer of high-performance and enhanced fiber optic cables designed to transmit high-speed data, voice, and power transmissions with locations throughout the United States. Burke Tech is considering expanding its existing manufacturing facility located at 100 Technology Park Lane in Fuquay-Varina, where it manufactures fiber optic cables. The company has been in Fuquay-Varina for 33 years and employs 100 full-time employees. The proposed project will add approximately 95,000 square feet to the existing 55,000 square feet building. The proposed project will result in $27 million in new capital investments. In addition to the expansion of the facility and the purchase of new machinery and equipment, the company intends to create 100 new full-time employees over 5 years with a projected average annual wage of $73,000 a year, which is above Wake County's average annual wage of $72,743. Management and staff's recommendation of $350,000 in economic development incentive assistance equals 1.3% of the total $27 million in new capital investment proposed by Burke Tech. The recommended funding assistance is consistent with the town's economic development incentive policy, where the town may participate in new or expanding manufacturing and commercial projects up to 5% of a project's total capital investment. If approved, economic funding assistance will be paid to the company after all new capital investments and equipment purchase thresholds have been met and confirmed by town staff and the Wake County Tax Office. Notice of the Economic Development Public Hearing has been published in accordance with North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 158, Section 1.1. The proposed project is consistent with the Town of Fuquay-Varina's 2021 through 2025 strategic plan by supporting the core values and initiatives of fiscal strength, objective number 1, initiative number 3, to maintain and improve the town's bond rating by fostering non-residential tax-based growth, by supporting economic vitality, objective number 3, initiative number 1, by promoting Fuquay-Varina as a destination for investment to support diverse growth and sustainability. Management and staff recommend and support the proposed economic development incentive funding requests and believe the development of Burke Tech's expansion project will continue to demonstrate the town's commitment to fostering public-private partnerships with its local business leaders that provide a significant tax base and employment opportunities for the citizens of Fuquay-Varina. There is a fiscal note attached to this agenda item. The proposed expansion project will create $27 million in new capital investment consisting of the expansion of the existing manufacturing facility and the purchase of new machinery and equipment. The proposed $350,000 incentive investment results in a 3.9-year payback based on local property tax. This payback period is justified by the investment proposed by a stable and expanding corporation, one of the nation's leading manufacturers of fiber optic cables. The recommended motion is to authorize the town manager to execute an economic development incentive agreement in an amount of up to $350,000 for the proposed expansion of the existing Burke Tech manufacturing facility located at 100 Technology Park Lane, and to approve the budget amendment BA 23-32, an amendment to move $350,000 from the general fund to the capital projects fund, and the project ordinance amendment number 23-05, to authorize all appropriations necessary for the completion of the project. Notice of this project's public hearing for the recommended economic development appropriations has been advertised according to North Carolina's Economic Development Statutes, Chapter 158, Section 7.1.
Thank you, Tiffany,
Thank you.
for providing that information. The hearing is now open. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the Economic Development Incentive Agreement, Budget Amendment, and Project Ordinance Amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the Economic Development Incentive Agreement, Budget Amendment, and Project Ordinance Amendment? The hearing is now closed. Tiffany, I believe we also have some representatives from Burt Tech that joined us tonight too, so thank y'all very much for joining us and recognizing this, and we appreciate Burt Tech being a partner in Fuquay-Varina. Tiffany, as you mentioned, this Economic Development Incentive Agreement is right in line with our policy, but also the exciting part of it is, I know Wake County has coming up on their agenda a consideration of an additional, excuse me, an additional incentive also, which is great right there, and that's recommended by both Wake County Economic Development Commission and, excuse me, Wake County staff, correct? And so that is good there. You want to introduce the Burt Tech individuals over here, Tiffany?
With us today, we have Karen Berry, who's the Vice President of Operations at the facility here in Fuquay-Varina, and we also have John Linderman, who is the consultant that worked on this project as well.
Thank y'all for coming tonight. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor and Board, thank you again for allowing us to grow in your town. I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, I want to say thanks to Tiffany and commend her. She's been awesome. I've been recruiting industry to North Carolina for over 40 years. Tiffany has been phenomenal in just shepherding this project and her patience with me to make this thing come to fruition here tonight. We've had our pre-construction meeting earlier today with your town staff. They were phenomenal, very helpful, and we are moving forward to get this project going right after Christmas. As soon as it stops raining, we got some bad weather moving in. We're mobilizing equipment, but thank you. You have an incredible town. Leviton has been manufacturing in North Carolina for over 60 years. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you're going to see their product in switches and light sockets and a lot of other product on the shelves there. But this fiber optic cable, as Tiffany has so well articulated, is going to bring the world to everybody's doorstep, bringing fiber optic cable right to people's houses. So thank you for your support, and thank you for being such a fertile place for things to grow, not just tobacco, but future high-tech industry as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank y'all for being here tonight.
Yes, sir.
Does the board have any questions for Tiffany or any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the town manager to execute an economic development incentive agreement in the amount of up to $300,000 for the proposed expansion of the existing Burt Tech Incorporated manufacturing facility located on 100 Technology Park Lane, and to approve budget amendment BA 23-32 and an amendment to the move $300,000 from the general fund to the capital project fund and project ordinance amendment POA 23-05 to authorize all appropriations necessary for the completion of the project. Notice to this project's public hearing for the recommended economic development appropriations have been advertised pursuant to the North Carolina's Economic Development General Statutes 1158-7, period 1.
So move. That worked too loud.
I'll second
We have a motion, we got a second. Bill, you want to reread it for him again? We got a motion and a second.
He did a good job.
Did a great job.
He got a period.
Good job, Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Tiffany, for your hard work.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. What is the board's pleasure on the items on the consent agenda?
Let's see here. Anything.
I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion that we approve the consent agenda items 8A through 8G as recommended and presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is going to be administrative reports. This is ratification of mayor appointments to town advisory boards and committees. First is the planning board and board of adjustment. On the planning board, seeking ratification of the reappointment of Jim Chandler to a third term. Jim has served as an in-town planning board member since January of 2017. Seeking ratification of the reappointment of Barbara Marchione to a third term by Wake County. Barbara has served as an ETJ planning board member since January of 2017. Seeking ratification of the appointment of Brett Johnson as a new in-town planning board member. Brett has professional experience with commercial, multifamily, and student housing development and currently works for a commercial development firm. I'd like to introduce Brett here tonight. Stand right here, Brett. Will you stand up and just say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? Appreciate you letting me be here. Mayor, thank you so much for having me as well. Looking forward to serving on the board.
Brett, thank you for your interest. Enjoyed meeting with you and having a conversation with you and learning about your background and where you came from and living here in town nearby. And so thank you for your willingness to serve on that. I'd like to entertain a motion by the board to accept those three ratifications.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
We got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Andy Petty is also being reappointed as planning board chair. Next item on the Board of Adjustment, seeking ratification of the reappointment of William Hartman to a third term. William has served as an in-town Board of Adjustment member since January of 2017. Seeking ratification of the reappointment of Dan Miller to a third term by Wake County. Dan has served as an ETJ Board of Adjustment member since January of 2017 and currently serves as the board chair. Entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Got a motion? Have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Dan Miller is being reappointed as the Board of Adjustment chair. We also have a Board of Adjustment member here in the back with us tonight. You want to stand and say hello, Cassandra? I know you're not on the agenda tonight to be reappointed, but I wanted to recognize that you're one of our members here tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Our next item is the appointments for the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Advisory Board. I'm appointing Eric Myers to a 3-year term. Eric and his family live in the town limits, has a young daughter that is active in the town's youth program, sports and rec programs, and Keith is a graduate and former football player of NC State. Go Pack! Eric is currently a manager with Deloitte Consulting. He was a neat man who met in town. We came across each other and played for the Pack, and that's great team. Just great school all around, really. I'm appointing Keith Williams Jr. to a 3-year term. Keith and his family live in the town limits. He has 2 young children that are active in the town's youth sports and recreation programs. Eric and his wife have been volunteer coaches. Keith is a senior operations manager for Sage Therapeutics. Neat thing about both these individuals is they live on 2 opposite sides of our town. One of them lives on the northern side of our town in Brighton Forest, and one of them lives in Northwick, actually, near Commissioner Harris. And they're going to be great individuals, too, and these don't need to be ratified, but just want to make the board aware of their appointment. Next item on our agenda is manager's report.
Mayor, I'll just run through a few things. A very brief report here as we wrap up our last town board agenda for the calendar year of 2022. We've had a lot of great successes here in the year 2022. We've got a lot to look forward to next year in 2023 as we complete the work that has been prescribed by the board as a part of the fiscal year 23 budget. Our Art Center is closing out its calendar year as well, with a 73% increase in class registrations compared to 2021. So a lot of interest in the arts in our community that we're very proud of. Our planning department is receiving a great level of response on our transit study and continues to encourage residents to participate on Let's Talk FV to give us feedback on that study. As it pertains to public utilities, with temperatures below freezing coming up here in the near future, Public Utilities is reminding residents to make sure they winterize their backflow prevention devices and outdoor plumbing fixtures to try to prevent pipe bursts. So if you know of anyone in your neighborhood, remind them to perhaps do the same. Our sidewalk contractors that have been working on shaving lips and whatnot in the sidewalks and fixing areas around curbs and entryways on our sidewalks. They are going to be wrapping up their work in town this week. They were able to shave the asphalt at the edge of gutters and ramps at South Fuquay and Raleigh Street, which was one we heard about here in one of our board meetings previously, amongst many other locations in our downtown district. In addition, on your agenda materials, there is information on the financial quarterly report for the town, the first quarter for fiscal year 23. Numbers are looking positive there, and trends are looking as we've expected. And so do take a look at that if you haven't had a chance to already, just to familiarize yourself with those metrics. Just a reminder that town offices will be closed for the observance of Christmas and New Year's, December 23rd, 26th, and 27th. And January 2nd. So just remember that our next board meeting is on January 3rd. Coffee with a Cop is scheduled at McDonald's, 1409 North Main Street, on Tuesday, January 3rd, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, hosted by the Cultural Arts Society of Fuquay-Varina, will be on January 16th at 10 a.m. And so very much looking forward to that successful event here in our community as well. And with that, I just want to congratulate the board again on another successful calendar year, and looking forward to carrying out some great work in 2023. With that, Mr. Mayor, I have no additional comments.
Thank you, Manager. Commissioner Gardner, any town board member comments?
Well, it's just been an exciting holiday season with all of the many events we've had. I was able to go to the Nutcracker. It was my first time to do that because I haven't had any little people participating before, and I didn't this time, but I just wanted to go, and it was a new take on that traditional story that had some very good lessons in it, and it was just so precious. It was a real highlight for me. And then the Gerald Parker Jazz Orchestra had their holiday Christmas concert, and both of these events were sold out. The Nutcracker was sold out for 3 performances, and the Jazz Orchestra was sold out as well. And it was the best one ever. And people were really, really, really actively engaged. It was a really great time too.
That was fun, Commissioner Gardner. You're exactly right, Nutcracker. We're not sitting too far apart, and the kids out there. Maureen, you've done a great job with programming there, and I mentioned at each of those events that how you've been sold out, and just as Commissioner Gardner just said, you continue to sell out things there. It's great, great job. Thank you, Commissioner Gardner.
My pleasure, thank you.
Commissioner Harris, any comments?
Just a few comments. It was just exciting to see and to sense the energy here earlier this evening with the children, and the importance of recognizing those members, staff members, and school officials who participated and so quickly responded to what could have been a devastating event here in Fuquay-Varina. I thought that was very, very timely, and I appreciate Chief Medina and the mayor, whoever thought of doing that. I think it was a great thing to do for the community. The second thing, with all that excitement and all the champions that I saw tonight, was telling Commissioner Smith that perhaps we need a trophy case or something somewhere.
I second that.
to house all of these trophies that we are collecting here. I think it's good for, I think that would be good for the community. Have no idea how we would do it or where it would be done, but I think it would be good for the community to further enhance our sense of community together. I think it would be time that if we are able to do that. So I just wanted to throw that out as an idea, and we could discuss it further at the retreat if we need to, but tonight just brought that to mind. I just thought it was just wonderful for us to continue to encourage the children, the young children, to, first of all, take on the attitude of working together, as well as being able to develop what I would term a champion's mindset. I think that will enhance and strengthen the entire community. And what I saw was future leaders tonight, so I really, really appreciate that. And then during this holiday season, I wish everyone a safe and happy holiday. And those are my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. I agree with you completely. Great night. Commissioner Haynes, any words of wisdom tonight?
Sure. I guess starting out, since it's my 1 year in, I definitely want to thank all the board members, the mayor, town management, all the department heads, and everybody who gave me so much education through this first year. Definitely it's a learning curve when you first get on that first year, so I definitely thank everybody for their advice and wisdom and understanding on so many different topics and things that we have discussed. So that's the first thing I really want to say. Thank you to each one of you. I want to also say we definitely have to shout out the finance department. I've been a part of a lot of organizations and different things, and to have an audit come back as clean as it is, that is amazing. I've seen some that have been totally opposite. So definitely that is something to really be proud of, and thank definitely everybody a part of your department as well. That's definitely something to recognize. Also attended the Leadership Fuquay-Varina. We had a panel discussion about a week ago that was great, and we talked about how to being leaders and being parts of members of boards and being heads of boards. So that was a great discussion, and they actually graduated this past week as well, another class of Leadership Fuquay-Varina. Had a great time with the Fuquay-Varina Consolidated School Christmas social. I was the youngest person there, I felt, but I enjoyed myself. But I definitely enjoyed them, and I definitely recognize them for paving the way for many people in the town of Fuquay-Varina. And the last thing is I want to definitely thank this past weekend, Pine X Community Center had our food giveaway, and I definitely want to thank the Fuquay-Varina Police Department for all they did to help us. We had another long line, and also to our streets department who brought out signs, because we actually had to close off and had one-way streets and detour people a few blocks down the street to make sure they got through safely. So I definitely want to thank all of them who helped me out this weekend, as well as all the volunteers and people who donated. I also want to bring recognition, because we're not the only ones that do it, so I definitely want to thank the Mercy Food Pantry for all they do in this season, as well as Operation Ayala for all they do during this season of giving and making sure that nobody in Fuquay-Varina goes hungry or goes without any different thing that they need. So I definitely want to thank them as well. And last but not least, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to each every one of you, and definitely if I don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. That's right. Well, Brian, you've done good the past year. Enjoyed our relationship too, and keep it going. Mark that name off. Mayor Pro Tem Smith, any
Just a
comments?
few comments. First of all, I want to echo what others have said about our finance department and Director Crabtree. Just so nice to sit here and just hear a boring report that nothing exciting happened except we did a great job. Trust me, in my past life, I saw some that weren't so good and people had to be investigated. So that was very good. I appreciate that so much, just to sit here and hear the accolades. Again, accolades for Economic Development Director McNeil, just to hear one of our major economic partners stand and brag on you and your department and brag on our planning department. That's just good news to know that we're just doing everything we can to keep these things going in our community, and I appreciate that a lot. Final comment, I went to a ribbon cutting and represented the town at the Happy's Country Club. It's a new business in the Q building. It's an indoor driving range with some really high-tech simulated driving range. It was pretty cool. They let me hit a few golf balls. They even have an instructor you can take lessons, and I think I'm gonna get involved in that so I can come after Commissioner Harris next time we get out on the golf course. He's got ahead of me, and I've got to polish up my game. So I think I'm actually gonna take some lessons to polish up my game out there. But it was a very nice thing, very unusual, but it was very nice, and I appreciated that so much. And like everyone else, wish you all a very Merry Christmas. It has been a great year working with each of y'all, from our town staff to, of course, my fellow board members and our mayor. I can't remember any more enjoyable times just to work with you guys each and every day on the big projects. So Merry Christmas to all, and thank y'all, our staff, for another great year, and let's make it even better in 2023. That's all the comments I have. Thank you.
You're right, Larry, that is a great new business in our downtown right there, and I think I'm gonna be behind you and having to take lessons to be able to compete with Bill on the golf course too, so I got something to learn from both of y'all to be able to keep up with it.
He told us to come on.
It'll take me a little while. I have upcoming, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, upcoming meeting with Congresswoman Ross, and I've been having meetings and conversations with the General Assembly and Wake County about all our new projects we have coming up and getting some funding and some help from those three areas right there. And so I want to tell you that we're working hard on that. I know everybody on this board is working hard to get that and help in regards to that. And so I feel like there's going to be some fruit to bear soon to talk about those things. So that's very positive right there. Sworn in 3 new police officers yesterday, Chief Medina, yesterday, and got 2 more in the pipeline, and then you'll be back fully staffed. And so lots of competition for those 2 spots, which, as we know, vacancy across the state of North Carolina, can't find anyone to work, where we have more people applying than jobs possible for. Chief, thank you for what you're doing there with your team, and that's great to have those positions filled. In fact, we had some of the new ones here tonight. I think they stepped out now, about to go back to work, but put them back to work. That's good, but they came by, and so that's good. Metro Mayors Association had their meeting this past week, and that is made up of the 33 largest cities and towns in North Carolina. And North Carolina ranks 25th, so we get to have a seat at that executive board, or excuse me, at that table. And then I was appointed this past week to the executive board, which is out of 6 people in North Carolina. And so plan to represent Fuquay-Varina well there. And part of that is different mayors across the state, across different political aisles and different thoughts, and how we can all help grow our communities and help with them right there, and ways to get creative financing too. Joanne, talking about this money, how we can bring money back home for your own projects right there. And so excited for that here. We had an excellent first responder luncheon, and I appreciate those that attended that. That was excellently attended by our police and fire departments, and that was at the American Legion, and I think the police and fire departments enjoyed that very much. Nils did the catering for it, so that was really nice, different type of meal, not the same food that you may always have, and so that was really, really a nice meal. And speaking of meals, Meals on Wheels had their annual Christmas luncheon at Pine Acres, and so I served at Pine Acres and sung Christmas carols. And as good as Commissioner Harris is at golf, and Maryland's probably the best one at singing of the group, that'd be the polite way to say it. I was going to say, although Brian and Bill have a lot of musical talent too, and Larry's golf too. Singing's not my best, but I sung Christmas carols, and it was fun, and we let it up there at the front. That was fun doing that. One staff member I want to recognize tonight is often putting together things and is behind the scenes, but gets things done for this board and makes us look good and makes me look good. But Communications Director Susan Weiss, thank you for all that you've done and getting the message out there to the public. You are the first to get the information out there when there's an event going on in town, whether it's a location, a street closure, or something citizens are wondering what's going on, or what this board action has been, or simply what information the public wants to know that's going on. So thank you for all your hard work this past year. I know you don't always get recognized for that because you're behind the scenes getting it out there, but thank you for what you do, and It makes a difference out there for our public, because we have constantly been recognized with the awards that you bring back and our website and our information and our communication stuff that's getting out there. So thank you for what you're doing. I have no further comments. I know we have a short closed session. Entertain a motion for closed session. Do we have a motion?
So, second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Motion carries.